Alright, so this is not a patch notes video, and I'm sorry it took so long for it to come out, but really I wanted to get as much playtime as possible before I could give you guys my opinions on the things that matter, and that is the new maps, footstep sounds, claymores, weapon balance, and all of that. But first, I want to start with Hardpoint. Hardpoint is a great addition to Modern Warfare because it allows you to play the entire map, and on every map. From what I can see, Hardpoint is playable on every single map in the game. At least I would assume so, because I played it on Grozny Raid, Arvlok Peak, Gunrunner, Azir Cave. I'm trying to remember the name. Sorry, it's a new Call of Duty game. I'm struggling a little bit. But anyway, I'm pretty sure every map is in rotation, so you might have a large map that plays differently than a smaller map, but you have to move around the map if you want to win. The way I was playing it, I let my friends play the objective, and I just picked off people that were trying to get to the hard point. I basically was the cutoff guy, and it was a lot of fun to play, honestly. Learning the rotations is a lot of fun compared to headquarters, which feels more random, and my only problem with hardpoint is that the hardpoints don't move in a circle around the map, which on larger maps like Grozny Raid is kind of annoying to go from trenches all the way to hotel, and then it kind of zigs around the map after that. It doesn't feel like a nice, complete circle. I kind of wish it was one point, and then the next point's close to it, and the next point's close to it. Maybe they could skip one point? I don't know, but it just felt too zigzaggy. I feel like I was running all the way across the map just to run all the way back around in kind of a Z shape, and I don't know, it's the only thing I don't like about Hardpoint, but for the most part, I really enjoy how you have to play Hardpoint. The only problem is the nade spam is real. Everybody has lethals and tacticals, and like I said before the game even came out, objective game modes like this are kind of hell when everybody has grenades. So bring your EOD and bring your battle hardened. I wanted to call out Infinity Ward on something before we get into the new maps here. You've completely removed the ability to play realism mode, and I don't know why. Now you can't even do realism night vision. There's no option to play night vision or realism, and that's a lot of people's favorite mode. So please, in the gameplay filters where you can switch from core to hardcore, add a third option for realism, because a lot of people would love to play realism 10v10 Dom. A lot of people would love to play that, and you're kind of holding out on us. Realism is a really cool mode, and you're keeping it from people that like it. Spawns were not fixed in this update. I know that they're working on that probably for the next one, but spawns are still bad and probably will be bad for the next 2 weeks or so. So that sucks. Getting spawn trapped blows, especially in team deathmatch game modes where you are essentially stuck on one side of the map unnecessarily while the entire other side of the map goes completely empty. It's very bad spawn design in maps like Petrograd and Piccadilly, and I really hope that they fix that in the next update massively. Massively. Alright, so moving on from there, we have Shoot House and Korvnik, Farmland? Farmland and Shoot House. I'm not saying Korvnik anymore than I have to. That just does not roll off the tongue. Farmland. So, starting with Shoot House is a great 6v6, fast-paced map. It's not so small that it's a novelty, and it's not so big that it's going to be campy. It does have a couple little power positions you can hold, but for the most part, this map is the milquetoast 3-lane design that a lot of normies have been asking for, and I personally enjoy playing on. Now, some people think that every Call of Duty map should be about this size and in this style. I also don't think those people should be allowed to vote in elections, but that's okay. And in all reality, the map only has one frustrating aspect to me, and that is the office building that kind of overlooks the B flag and domination. I don't like it very much. It kind of feels like it defeats the purpose of the map, but all of the cover in there is shoot-throughable, and that's not really a word. But then you can also throw grenades into the top of the roof. There's actually big open windows in the ceiling, so you can go ahead and lob some grenades into there if somebody will not get out. So keep that in mind. I've gotten so used to saying shoot throughable with my friends that I didn't realize it's seeping into my recordings. Okay, so anyway, it's simple, it's milquetoast, it's a nice 3-lane map, it's a good change of pace. If you want fast-paced action, you want more kills per second, you want more score per minute, here you go. I wish it had a gimmick. I wish I could climb the rappel ropes around the map. I wish I could, open a trap door and go underneath it or something like that, but there's really no fun gimmicks on this map. If I'm wrong about that, let me know and maybe I missed something, but it's very boring. But there it is. It's free. Enjoy it. Now, Farmland is an interesting ground war map because it does not have the height advantage play that Karst River Quarry has or Tovorsk District has. And I like that a lot because now we have this map, which is basically one flat plain with a couple of hills, a couple of rooftops, a couple of windows, but overall the map plays very, very flat, and I think a lot of people will like not having to constantly keep their eyes to the sky looking for snipers peering over rooftops or over mountains. I like that a lot. It is annoying when you play Quarry and then you play Divorce District, and you are constantly having to look for snipers up on ridgelines and rooftops, and now this map just doesn't really have that problem. And I enjoyed it, and I do think there's some potential for spawn trapping, but I had fun playing on it. I like the aesthetic, I like the size, I like the feel of it. They could maybe make a couple of the flags a little farther apart from each other, but I'll have to get more playtime with the map. I was only able to play it twice because it kept giving me River Quarry and it kept giving me Divorce District, and that just kinda got annoying. But Farmland does play pretty damn well, at least as far as I could tell. It does make me think that the tanks need to be nerfed a little bit, either to take one less rocket, or to, maybe have a slower firing cannon or something. Honestly, this would be the best ground war map to just remove tanks, because I feel like it would be a really good infantry-only map, and you have ATVs and SUVs you can play around with, but for the most part, I would love this a lot more if tanks weren't involved, or if tanks got a nerf. I don't mind the tanks on the larger maps, but on this map, I don't know, they're a little annoying, but we'll get over it. I don't know, use landmines, thermite grenades, rocket launchers, take them out, work with your squad to take them out. It's part of the game. You'll enjoy it if you get good. Alright, so moving on to the patch notes. The game doesn't crash anymore on Xbox, at least for my friends and I over the entirety of yesterday, whereas before, if we got into an Xbox party chat, we could play maybe 1 or 2 matches and the game would crash consistently for 1 or 3 of us, and now we were able to play a lot, and I mean a lot, within party chat, no crashes. I got 1 error message and got returned to the Modern Warfare main menu, and my one friend, he said his game froze and he just decided to restart it, but we haven't had our consoles crash. That's what was happening before. The consoles would just straight up shut down, and that's not a problem anymore. If the problem arises, if the problem is out there and we just didn't find it, that sucks, and I'll complain about that on here if that happens, but none of my friends had problems, and that's pretty cool. They also fixed a bug where you would show up on the minimap when a UAV is active, even if you had Ghost and a Silencer equipped. So if you guys watched Exclusive Ace's video about the fact that firing a suppressed weapon while a UAV is up disables your Ghost perk, that wasn't an intentional feature, that was actually a bug. So now, firing a suppressed weapon while a UAV is up will not show you to enemies on the minimap, which is cool. They fixed the riot shield bullshit. I'm sure you guys saw some people running around with riot shields throwing knives faster than you can react through them. That's been fixed. Shields now go on your back when you throw those things, so go ahead and get your shotguns ready for those riot shield users. We'll talk about shotguns later on. Props to IW for fixing that problem. I thought it would take a lot longer for that to get fixed. And Claymore's got a nerf. So now, if you shoot a Claymore with your gun, the damage is non-lethal. So basically, if you stand right in front of a Claymore, as close as you can without detonating it, and shoot it, the blast that comes off of shooting it will not kill you. It is non-lethal when at full health. That's important to mention, when at full health. And also the damage and trigger radius has been reduced, and the damage width is better linked to the trigger width. So those little lasers that come out will better show where the blast is going to go, instead of where it was before, where you get killed even if you were standing on the side of it. Like, you aren't triggering it at all, but if it got blown up, it would kill you. That's been tweaked now. So Claymores have been nerfed. That's great to see. And battle chatter has been fixed. Your character will no longer scream, "Contact!" every time they see somebody from behind. I got so tired of that. It's one of the most frustrating things to hear my character scream something and then see somebody turn around and go, "Hey, there's a bad guy over here." That's been fixed. They also made it so it's a little bit more directional. You have to be kind of aiming towards somebody and looking at them directly for your character to say anything, because previously if the character was just on your screen, your character would scream out that there was an enemy on their screen somewhere, and then it would kind of make you panic a little bit because maybe you didn't see them. So yeah, that's been fixed. EOD got buffed and now clamps damage to a non-lethal amount when you're at full health, basically meaning the explosive damage you take shouldn't be lethal if you are at full health while using EOD. Of course, there are probably exceptions like 105 rounds, cruise missiles, but EOD should keep you alive more consistently now. Mounting has slight increase to recoil, so that's good. Mounting isn't as powerful as it was. It's still a useful tool to mitigate recoil, but it's not going to be as useful as a tool for mitigating recoil. They did some continued updates to player visibility in dark windows and dark areas. That's great to see. And footsteps, guys, footsteps are, in my opinion, fixed. Basically, they're quieter now. They're quieter around pieces of cover and geometry in the maps, and they're just quieter at a distance. So I was actually able to get flanked by enemies that weren't using dead silence if I wasn't listening for them directly. And also, I was able to flank people, more importantly. And my character wasn't screaming "contact" every time they saw somebody, but the enemies could hear at least. So that was cool too. So now you're not punished for sneaking up on a camper because of your footsteps being so loud and your character being so loud. And they're also going to make it in the next update so that ADS movement and crouching movement is much quieter, because currently proning and like crawling on your stomach is absolutely silent. But crouching is pretty much the same as walking, and so is ADS walking is the same as like normal walking. So they're going to fix that, and that's cool to see. They're working on challenges and progression and rank tracking and all of that stuff. It's not completely fixed yet, but they've gotten some specific challenges fixed. I recommend reading the patch notes in the description for all the information on that. I wish challenge tracking just worked properly and the UI would show you how many kills you needed for a camo or whatever, but it just resets and says you're a 0 out of 25 when you're actually not, and whatever. They're fixing that. I wish it was fixed all in one go, but I imagine that's apparently more complicated than it's supposed to be. Anyway, now here's the last of the stuff that I care about. Weapons got nerfed and buffed, and this is great to see. The 7.25 shotgun, the Olympia, has increased ADS and hipfire spread, and they reduced the damage range. Now, what's my personal opinion on this? The shotgun is still very good, it's very competitive, but I have been hit markered by it a couple times by people that I think expected me to die, because they'll run past me and they'll shoot once, and then they'll keep sprinting, and I'll kill them, and I'm pretty sure they thought I was gonna die in the first shot. So the damage range reduction worked, the increase to spread worked. It still is a very good shotgun, especially if you start piling on attachments. And so I kind of hope they tweak it again, just a little bit. I think the sprint out time and ADS time should be increased just because of the, the size of the weapon. But overall, I was gonna rant about how the fact that it's kind of a quarter measure fix, but it's okay. I guess it's fine. It's better than it was, and they might do another tweak to it later on if people still complain. But anyway, the Olympia has been nerfed, and I hope people try out other shotguns, or just, God forbid, other weapons. This next one I'm going to talk about in its own video, probably tomorrow, the M4A1 assault rifle, a gun that I just recently got gold after the nerf went live. This gun wasn't nerfed. I do think it is slightly less accurate, and I do feel like at distances, but it's still a really good assault rifle. And you might think, well, that's good, they don't want it to nerf it. They didn't want to nerf it into the ground. It's pretty much the same gun though, that's the problem. Like, it's not that they didn't nerf it into the ground and I wish it was useless. I mean, it's still so good, I can barely tell it got a nerf. There is one sweeping change here that I find to be pretty damn interesting. Assault rifles have increased hipfire spread to reduce effectiveness up close and less damage at long range for full auto 5.56 rifles. This is phenomenal because this is what I said in my video where I was saying the M4 can't get nerfed without the rest of the ARs being tweaked. If the M4 would have just gotten nerfed, then the Kilo and M13 would have just swooped in and filled that power vacuum. So automatic 5.56 rifles, which is what the M4 is, got a range decrease, and also every assault rifle gets its hipfire spread increased to reduce their effectiveness up close, and I love that. So assault rifles got a little less versatile today, and that, in my opinion, is a great thing, because they're still very versatile, but just edge them out a little bit. Just make the SMGs a little bit better, and well, that's what we have here, actually. Right there. SMGs have increased movement speed, increased ADS movement speed, and a small reduction in sprint out time. So SMGs got a buff. You're going to be able to sprint out faster with them, move faster while ADS, and move faster just in general. There's some other changes here like the MG34 LMG and M91 LMG getting increased hipfire spread and small damage range reduction and small ADS slowdown. The Uzi got increased damage range. I recommend you read the patch notes in the description. The Olympia is still powerful and annoying to die by because it's a shotgun and they're never going to be able to patch them perfectly, and the maps in this game revolve around power positions and tight rooms and areas, and shotguns are going to rule those areas for the rest of the year, and that sucks. But either way, the Olympia I feel like could still get a little bit of a nerf somewhere. I still feel like it's a little strong. People are still using it pretty confidently. The M4 is pretty much the exact same gun. the Claymore nerf, battle chatter changes, and footstep sounds will make this gameplay a lot better and will definitely not de-incentivize aggressive play like it was before. Hardpoint is a great addition, and I think it plays very, very well. Shoot House is great for people that want fast-paced action, and there's a Shoot House 24/7 playlist just for them. I think that Farmland is a great change for ground war, not focusing on long-range, height-advantage sniping, but instead more infantry-focused combat. I hope that they remove tanks, reduce the number of tanks, they do something with the tanks on this map because I feel like it'd be a much better infantry map. My console isn't crashing when I'm in Xbox Party Chat, and I'm not going to get throwing knifed from behind riot shields as consistently, and lighting's better, and some challenges are tracking better now, and overall, props to you, Infinity Ward. It took 2 weeks, but you made it up to us, because 2 weeks goes by and you fix the crashing. Okay, neat, but 2 weeks goes by, you fix the crashing and give me 2 free maps and a new game mode to play? Or at least a fan favorite game mode to play? That's a classy move, and I respect that, and I appreciate the support coming from the developers, and I appreciate that things will get better and they're still working on things and improving the game. This is a massive step in the right direction, even if some of the things in this update kind of felt like a quarter measure, but as somebody that spent their $60 on Modern Warfare, I really feel valued as a player, which is how I felt during Infinite Warfare, and I hope they can keep up this level of content and support. Maybe not every 2 weeks, but this level of content support up through the next year. I really hope that we see more good things from Infinity Ward soon. I'm hopeful because of this update, even if this update leaves me wanting just a teensy bit more in some departments, I'm okay with it. It's good, I'm happy, and I'm gonna go play the game right now. So yeah, see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.